everyone, this is Mrs. Barton. I wanted to make a brief video as part of your 2 hours for the first week, talking about how to take reading notes, what I expect from you with reading notes, and how to tackle the most difficult chapter in the entire book. I say difficult because it is a lot of terminology. It's a lot of it's probably going to be a lot of words that you've either not seen before or you've seen and you just don't know what they mean. So we need to kind of dive into that. I handed out a reading notes template. Okay, if you don't have one, okay, this is just kind of the flow that I want to see with your reading notes. So you'll put your name and your class, your Allied Health 2, okay, because this is your second semester in Allied Health, and then the date. We're going to begin with Chapter 7, Section 1. We're going to tackle this chapter section by section. I don't want you to worry about doing the whole chapter as a whole. I mean, it's over 100 pages. Let's just not go there. All right, so there's a few different sections to this I want to point out. There's terms. Okay, these are going to be any words that you don't know right off the bat. Okay, we're going to talk about how do you put a definition in your own terms, okay, in your own words. And then you have your subject. So this is an outline for the content that you're taking notes on, right? So if you don't know something as you're reading it, you should probably write it down. And I'll show you how to write it down to make it appear more organized and easy to read. All right. Then at the end of the section, we're going to summarize. Okay, I want you to summarize at least 5 sentences. Okay, and when you do that, include information responding to the chapter objectives. Right, so if the chapter objective says describe basic diseases affecting each of the body systems, right, so what diseases would be related to that section? Okay, apply appropriate terminology to major organs and systems of the body. Right, so with cells, how do cells relate to organs? Well, cells are the basic unit of tissues, and then tissues come together, different tissues come together and create organs. Different organs come together to make systems, right? So everything's kind of interdependent, and you can utilize that objective to summarize that kind of information. Okay. Now, review questions. For this chapter, this is not going to be included for Chapter 7. Okay? Not for Chapter 7, because this is going to take us over a month. By the time you get to the review questions, we're already going to be past and beyond. Okay, so I'm going to give you something different in class than these review questions. So don't worry about it for this chapter. We're going to worry about it when we get to your next chapter, and the chapter after that, and the chapter after that. So, just so you're aware of what this document is. Now, while you're reading your book, your textbook is meant so that you can teach yourself. You can teach yourself information. It tells you what you're supposed to learn, objectives, or what you're supposed to learn. Okay, so by the end of the chapter, apply appropriate terminology to major organs and systems of the body. Okay. Identify the major functions of each body system. Functions is physiology. That's what physiology means, is the function. Okay. So the physiology of each body system. Compare interrelationships of body systems. Okay. Your nervous system, all your nerves, to stimulate and tell your muscles to contract and move your bones, which is your skeletal system, right? So you have all of your body systems work together, and you need to be able to connect them and how they work together to keep you alive, right? Describe basic diseases affecting each of the body systems. Okay, for each body system, reproductive system, you have STDs. The renal system or your urinary system has things like nephritis or renal disease okay? And you need to be able to understand what those diseases are and what they actually do to your renal system or your urinary system. Okay, define, pronounce, and spell all key terms. So we're going to practice saying and using all of these words in class, but at home, and sometimes it's easier at home, to be able to try and pronounce them out loud. Google has a really great function where, some things you can have it say out loud. All right, or you can go to dictionaries and they'll show you the phonetic spelling so that you can say it out loud based on how it's spelled phonetically. All right, so one example of that is centrosome. 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 Chromatin. Chromatin. Those are phonetic spellings, okay, where it sounds it out through spelling it. So let's start some reading notes. So we're going to put our name in the top. Please spell out your whole name. Class, Allied Health 2. Okay, and then the date. Today just happens to be 9/19 of 19. And these are going to be Chapter 7, Section 1 reading notes. I apologize, my handwriting is atrocious. Alright, so the first section is going to be terms. Okay? Say you don't know what anatomy means. Let's write it down. Anatomy. Okay? Anatomy. So let's find anatomy here. Alright. So anatomy is the study of the form and structure of an organism. Anatomy is basically what it is, what it looks like, what the structure is. Okay, so anatomy is simply structure. Okay. Alright. With everything in the body, you have two sides to it. You have anatomy and you have physiology. Anatomy is what it looks like, where it is. Okay? Physiology is its function. Right? Okay, so let's go to the next one, a cell. Right? So if you know the cell is the basic building block of all life, okay, you know what it is? Don't write it down. Don't take your time. Alright, cell membrane. So you already know that. Okay, centrosome, chromatin, you're a rock star. You already know those. Alright, connective tissue. What if we don't know what connective tissue is? Alright, so connective tissue. So let's look this up here. Alright, so connective tissue. Supporting fabric of organs and other body parts. Okay, two types, soft and hard. Alright, so this is going to be the tissue that keeps your body connected together. Okay, so I'll put supports body body parts. Okay. Alright. So that would be in my own words. Put all these definitions in your own words. Okay. Alright. Cytoplasm. Say we know what cytoplasm is. What about dehydration? Oh, dehydration. Okay. Dehydration. Alright. Ooh, I already passed there. Okay, dehydration. Dehydration. Oh, look at that. Okay. If there's an insufficient amount or not enough tissue fluid, a condition called dehydration occurs. Okay. So dehydration is where there's not enough fluid. Right? Or, you know, I could think of dehydration like when you feel dehydrated, you feel parched, okay? Not drinking enough fluid. I'll put an example. So you can put things that make you remember what it is, right? And you can make it colorful, okay? Right, make it colorful. It separates it so those words pop, right? So, and we're going to go through that for all of these terms, okay? All right, you write down the definition if you don't know the definition. If there's something important about it that helps you remember it, write it down, okay? So, for section 1, so you're going to start reading. Human body is often described as an efficient, organized machine. When this machine does not function correctly, disease occurs. Before understanding the disease processes, however, the health worker must first understand the normal functioning of the body. Basic understanding of anatomy and physiology is therefore necessary. Anatomy is the study of the form and structure of an organism, and physiology is the study of the processes of living organisms. Okay? Alright, so maybe, okay, we'll put number 1, because this is going to be your subject, right? These are going to be your subjects. Okay, so there wasn't a blue, so I looked. There's not really a blue for that section. So some subject that I could come up with that connects all of this is maybe body basics. Right? Or introduction, right? Okay, so we have anatomy, right? And we know from what we looked up earlier, that's your structure. You know, what does it look like? Where is it? Okay, those are parts to the structure, right? Okay. B, right, if I keep reading, physiology. If you don't know what physiology is the study of the processes of living organisms, or why and how they work, right? So B, physiology. And that's your function, okay? So if anybody's ever taken math, I've always written function like this, or you can just write function, right? If you have shortcuts that make it quicker and easier for you to take notes, do it. So long as you know that you're going to know exactly what that means, take advantage of it, right? Save your time, save your hard-working hand muscles for the important stuff. Okay, and then we're going to keep on reading. Pathophysiology is the study of how disease occurs and the responses of living organisms to disease processes. So you have C, pathophysiology. Alright, pathophysiology is the study of how disease occurs and the responses of living organisms to disease processes. Okay, so pathophysiology is what happens when A and P, so A and P is anatomy plus physiology, right? You should remember that from your first semester for a medical abbreviation, okay? So pathophysiology is when A and P doesn't work right. This is when something goes wrong. So some bodily function goes wrong. Okay. All right. And it goes on to talk about basic substance of all life is protoplasm. Well, we'll just pretend you already know what that means, right? You can read it. If you don't know it, write it down. Okay? All right. So I'm going to make this a little more colorful. Okay. We're going to get to our second topic, which is cells. Okay. I'm going to make it colorful too. It's blue in the book. I'll make it blue in my notes. All right. So cells, okay, well, we're reading basic unit of structure and function. So, basic unit of life. Alright, if you know it already, don't write it down. Okay, then we're going to keep reading. They take in food and oxygen, produce heat and energy, move and adapt to their environment. If you don't know it, write it down. Eliminate waste, perform special functions, reproduce to create new identical cells. Okay, your body has trillions of cells, right? So that's million. This is billion. This is trillion. Right, so I put 1 trillion cells in the body. Ooh. How about we put plus, because I could be more. Okay. So, next we have a cell membrane. Alright. Let's see. It's the outer protective covering of the cell. It's also called the plasma membrane or plasma lemma. Okay. Lemma is a term that means covering. Okay, in your muscle cells you have sarcolemmas, right? So those are the covering of your muscle fibers. All right, but plasma membrane. Okay, I happen to know the cell membrane is a lipid bilayer. That's how I remember it. But it says it is also called the plasma membrane. So let's put also known as, AKA. Plasma membrane, right? Okay, and this is a gatekeeper, so it controls, it says it allows certain substances to enter and leave the cell while preventing the passage of other substances. So this is your gatekeeper. This is your cell gatekeeper. Okay. Then you have cytoplasm. Right, and you'll write notes about that. You're going to keep on reading. Anything that you don't know, you're going to write down. Right? You can skip things. That's okay. If you know it, skip it. You know it. Okay? Only you know what you know. I don't. Okay, so then you can go on to, let me see. You know, the next section, maybe cell reproduction. Right? Cell reproduction. Okay? You could talk about mitosis and meiosis, whatever you don't know about that. Alright? Everything in this book is important. If you don't know something, you should write it down. Okay? Again, the next subject could be tissue. You could talk about dehydration, epithelial cell tissue, connective tissue, so on and so forth. You're going to do this for the whole section. Okay? Alright? This next page is, you know, the next section, 7.2. So when you get to the end of it, alright, I'm at the bottom of the page, so I'm going to skip ahead to the next page here. Alright, you're going to write your summary. Okay, I want it to be 5 to 6 sentences, so you're going to write, you know, at least 5 sentences. Okay. And this information that you put in these sentences should summarize and answer your objectives. Okay. And after that, if it were a different chapter, I would have you go through and answer or review questions. But for this chapter, you're not going to have to do that in your reading notes. So that would be the end of your reading notes. If you have questions as to how to complete these, okay, please let me know. My email is Barton, BARTONJ, @dearbornschools.org. Or you can always message me on Remind. I'm always, you know, trying to keep up on that and get back with you in a timely manner. So this is something that's important. Okay, it will help teach you to be self-sufficient, right? Because you're not always going to have a teacher. You're not always going to have somebody hovering over you say, do this. Okay? If you are independent and responsible, you will take the initiative to look at the objectives, like what you're supposed to learn. Know what you're supposed to learn. Okay? Quiz yourself. Right? Look at these objectives. Quiz yourself. Do you know for cells how they have interrelationships to the body systems? If you cannot easily answer that objective, then you should probably go back and work on your reading notes. Okay? This is going to be a better way to study for your tests, because who wants to read the entire book when you can get it down into 2 or 3 pages of only what you need to pay attention to, right? So you put all the work in up front, and this is going to help you stay on top of things in class, ask questions, all right? It's going to help you be more successful in the long run. So again, please let me know if you have questions regarding this. This is going to be the first portion of time for your 2-hour attendance, okay? But this will be the first of 2 videos for you to complete. Normally I'm going to have your videos to be completed by 6 p.m. on Friday night, but today, because I'm getting this so late, it's going to be 6 p.m. on Saturday. So again, have any questions, let me know. I want you guys to be successful, and I hope you enjoy these videos. Thank you.